Hey, Bianca here, and welcome to Teach Like Bianca. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my classroom organization tips. I'm going to be showing you pictures using my website, my blog that I had shared my classroom organization blog post with. And I'm going to also link down below the way my current classroom looks like. And this is the classroom that I had just finished up late September putting together. So I'm going to put that down below, but I'm going to talk about what I do in depth to have my classroom organized so that it follows the procedures and routines that I put in place, as well as my overall classroom management plan and how I create a behavior management system based off of my classroom procedures and routines. So if you have any questions, please put them down below. I'll answer them. If you want to see something a little bit more in depth with just one procedure or one practice that I do, put that down below so I can get that video out to you as well. I'm working with a 3-part series of managing classroom behaviors, procedures and routines, and then this is the final one of classroom organization. And I want you to see how all these fit and flow together. So please stay tuned and keep on watching.
So I want to use my blog post that I wrote on simple and effective classroom organization tips to kind of lead the conversation of what your classroom should look like. And if you don't know, I blog at belikebianca.com. It's actually what led me to create a YouTube channel so I can just reach a wider audience. So welcome to my blog if this is your first time seeing it, where I have a lot of tips, teacher tips and strategies here, as well as some parenting and lifestyle articles, and then my shop. And then if you want some teacher freebies, you can sign up, and you can sign up on my homepage and you can go in and get a bunch of freebies. Stuff like teacher planners, some checklists, guides, just some things that you could take back into your classroom and use tomorrow or your next teaching day. Let's go ahead and get into the simple and effective organization tips, because based off of your classroom, if you already have a classroom that has possibly your systems and your routines set up, you first start with your organization, okay? So once you have kind of in your mind what you want to do and have it listed out, you want to create your classroom that it flows well, that it matches what your routines are. So classroom organization is very effective with classroom management. So this is why everything kind of flows together. I do have a classroom setup and tour video on YouTube. You can watch that. But I'm going to show you some pictures that I have that create the organization process that matches with my routines and procedures. This picture below is actually my older classroom that I used to have, and this classroom is it had a lot of room. So I actually have my teacher desk, and then I have off to the side another teaching area where I would have materials for students, and sometimes I would sit and teach from there, or we would listen to books, and I also had my dot camera right next to it, so it was considered my teaching station, and students knew when I was at that part or that area in the classroom that it was instruction and it was time for instruction that they needed to follow along. So always have a teaching station or area where you can go. And the way that these desks are set up, this is pre-COVID. And I had this set up for 7th and 8th graders. That's what I taught at the time. And I always changed the layout of my desks. I didn't want students to get bored, or I didn't want students to get restless with the way things are. So I always change the layout of my desk. And I really had them in that circle because we were doing a book study and reading a novel together. And it was just a way for us to have discussions that were a little bit more in depth since we were in that circle. This is what my library looked like, my classroom library, and it wasn't organized by any sort of genre or grade level. I had a variety of books that were that were classroom books, and then I also even have magazines. I used to have these gaming magazines from GameStop that I would put down there, and students that would never read always wanted to read these gaming magazines or even just look at the pictures. I didn't mind at all because it brought them away from technology and brought them into something where they were actually reading pictures, reading through the magazines. So I have my magazine station. I also had books that were like Guinness Book of World Record books and a variety of different things there that just that we used during our independent reading time. The back table, or these two desks, are more independent desks. They are for students that want to work by themselves, or they want to sit back there and read on their own, or they can do a buddy read. Sometimes I would sit back there and read with students as well. But always having an area where a student can just go and work independently is great to have in your classroom. I also really love putting up positive posters and positive themes in the classroom. Something that just shows that we are all in this together. My next is where I have the bulletin board for no names. I want to have this up somewhere in the classroom. Sometimes I would have it on a clip, a magnetic clip on the board, or I just put a pin and stuck it up on the bulletin board in the back of the room. But if students are missing something and it goes missing, then it's up in their no name area. I always had a space for them so that it wasn't just going in the trash. It was actually going somewhere where they can go back in and look for it and try to find if it's theirs. This part is really, really important because there's a turn-in tray. So the 3, 4th, and 5th period, those were turn-in trays. And then I also have the late tray. The late tray is if a student turns in something late, then I know it's late and I can grade it right away. The turn-in trays are just basically where students turn in work. And I just make sure that I label so students won't know where to go, where to put things. And some of those, the white box areas, those were for notebooks if they need to turn in their notebook to be graded. The next area is my refocus reflection table, which I always have in the back of the room or the corner of the room where a student can sit and just relax. They also can color. I have coloring pages. I also have a Chromebook where they can just listen to some background music through the Chromebook or watch a calming video. It's just that area where they might need to refocus. So they might be having trouble with one of their peers in the classroom. They might just be upset about something that could have happened previously before they even got into my classroom. Whatever the case is, it's just a place where they can come and reset. And I just call it the refocus reflection table. There is a form that they can fill out where they can journal or write about something, that whatever it is they're going through, to get it off their chest so that they can get back in the classroom and we could see what the problem was. For the most part, students like to come and just come sit at the refocus table when they get done with work, and they just want to color and just have a different area in the classroom where they can just kind of calm down and reset before they go on out of my classroom. The next area is just class announcements. I make sure to put all the announcements, the schedules, calendars, whatever the announcement is, I put it up so that they can see it. I also have these bins where I keep everything in class. So students receive a file and a notebook at the beginning of the year, the first week of school, and they will have that the entire school year. And they'll keep all their materials in this notebook. So I never allow them to take it home or take it anywhere because I don't assign homework. Everything's done in class. I also make sure that while they do keep their materials in class, that they have a place for it in class that's labeled and they know where to put it, and I color code it. So I color code the classes so that students know easily where their things are based on the color. The next part, this is just another place to show where we're working on for the day, what the objective is, what our agenda is going forward. This also has I show upcoming dates. Students always like to know when we don't have school. Of course, they also want to maybe know when there's an assembly and things like that. So I always put upcoming dates up on the board. Students will write things into their own agenda for what the agenda is for the class. And then I also put up maybe exemplars of student work on the board if students want to come take a look and see what it is that they're working on to get better ideas at the exemplars. They can come up and do that as well. And then the next part I just wanted to show is just the calm lighting. So I don't have my full light up in the classroom, but I have a lamp in the class. It just kind of just shows a more calm, serene lighting of the classroom. It kind of just makes it a little bit more welcoming and tones things down a little bit. If you have that ability to bring in lamps, and I've seen a lot of other teachers put up Christmas lights and things like that, but it kind of creates a different feeling in the room. And also if you can use natural light, if you have windows, big windows, and you can have natural light, that also works very well. This is my absent trays. So what I do is I put students' names on the paper, the assignment, and I put it on the day that they're absent. So if they're absent Thursday, for example, I'll put their name on it and stick it into the Thursday tray. Then when they come back in, they can come grab it out of the absent tray or find the assignment with their name on it and get it out of the absent tray. And then if a student doesn't get it or whatever the case might be, then I move it over to the tray that's on to the right. And that's where I put any extra handouts, or if we go into the next week, I put those handouts over there just in one pile, just in case they didn't get it. And then my bottom tray was for returning papers or passing back papers to students. And then I always have a student area. When I say student area, it's just an area for them to get their own pencils. If they need to use a stapler or tape, they need paper, pencil sharpener, hole punch, just things that they might need for class to help them with their assignment or turning things in. This area is all for them. The thought box that you see in the back, the yellow box, is kind of like a comment box. It's for students to basically just create a comment for the class, and then I read it out loud. Think of it like a comment you might leave at a restaurant. That's what the thought box is like. So if people use the thought box and they put a note in the thought box, I usually read it on Fridays. They are able to put their name on it. Some students do, some students don't. Usually they're making comments that they don't want to say out loud, or they don't want to say in front of everybody. It's just more of anonymous comments is usually what I've gotten before. Overall, thinking about what you want within your classroom kind of depends on how you want your procedures set up. So if you have any questions about how I set up my classroom and what it looks like, I'll link this blog article down into the description. I also will advise you to also check out my classroom setup and tour video for how I have my classroom this year. And if you do have any other questions or comments, or if you want to share your classroom with me, please feel free to reach out. You can come to my website and you can email me. You can connect with me. I always answer back emails, so please feel free to reach out. And I will see you next time in the next video.